Hey everybody, welcome back to another review with me. I am your host Maxine and we are reviewing Ready to Love Season 11, Episode 11, titled Engaged and Confused. So this episode focuses on the men introducing their connections to their families. And the men are in power, okay? So we jumpstart with Darius introducing Ashante and what's her name? Ashley to his brother and sister. Now, prior to Ashley arriving, it was just Ashante meeting his brother and sister, and the conversation's going well. She's sharing how much she thinks Darius is cool and how they talk on the phone for hours. How many hours though? Because Ashley is saying the same things. I'm trying to understand when are these hours in which you're talking to him, and when are the hours in which he's talking to Ashley as well? And what do you do for work? Because I understand he's a what is it? Luxury car rental owner, company guy, whatever. But I don't know. What is the time that you have to talk to these women for hours? Is it on the phone via phone call, or is it via text? Because that's another difference there that we could point out. But nonetheless, the vibe is going well, right? Darius, he actually gave a bouquet of flowers to Ashante, and he's about to give another bouquet of flowers to Ashley when she comes in. But before we get into that, Darius is saying how Ashante came prepared and she said the right things and he was impressed, right? But did y'all peep this too, or was it just me? Because as soon as Ashley walked in, I noticed her outfit. And maybe I'm coming from just a modest, prudish upbringing, right? But I feel like if you're meeting someone's family, I don't even care. It could be friends, but particularly family. And now granted, it's not his grandma. You know, I know his mother passed. It's not an elder, but I still feel like if I'm meeting your family, maybe she didn't know which family member, but walking in with a denim midriff showing your stomach and wearing sneakers, maybe I'm just brought up different. Is it me? I just think that was inappropriate. I feel like that showed her age. And throughout this episode, we see more examples of how her age is really showing as an obstacle between her and Darius. So, and just to point out, Ashante is dressed pretty appropriately. She has a full length top. There's no midriff showing. There's no cleavage showing. She still looks good, but she looks appropriate. She looks like a good girl. Be a good girl. But I just feel like there's something there that I just didn't feel was appropriate to adorn yourself in when meeting the family members of your significant other or your potential significant other. So we get to a point of contention immediately as soon as Ashley sits down, and then the sisters start talking about how Darius, when he gets with the woman, he immediately puts her to work. And we see Ashley's reaction to this. She's like, what? What's that supposed to mean? And Darius kind of goes into the fact that he's a fashion designer. So I think that also explains why he's always wearing those furs. It must be something related to his fashions and his particular line. That's what I'm assuming here. But nonetheless, when he's saying that, he's saying like he wants his woman to produce something too. He wants his woman to be active in this relationship and not necessarily have her feet up as he's doing all this work. And I think that makes sense. Like, here comes the modern women out here are gonna be like, pick me, you're pick me. But I feel like this is what a healthy relationship could look like. And I'm speaking outside of the allegations against Darius. Y'all, I'm sure y'all have been made aware of him being accused of being a scammer and being married to this white woman a little minute ago, like half a minute ago, like a minute what? Just a second ago, basically. But whether that's true or not, let's say if it is true, that's besides the point. Okay, the point is, I think in a relationship, there should not be only one person applying any amount of effort when it comes to just what it looks like to live in this society. I feel like there should be an even balance. Like, and let's just say we want to keep it to the traditional context of the man works, the woman is at home cooking and cleaning. That is still work that the woman is doing, right? So I think the point is, everyone is doing their part. Anyway, we hear and we see Ashley's disdain for this comment, and we get deeper into this in a moment. But Ashante exits, right? Because they always do this, so she leaves, and now it gets to Ashley simply being there. But before Ashante leaves, Ashley says how she doesn't like when women could easily access her man. She feels like that's inappropriate, and she's not in favor of that. But Darius' sister is trying to explain to her it's not something to be worried about, and you shouldn't allow your insecurities to get in the way of this person from exceeding his goals and meeting his goals in general. But again, she's still stuck on the fact that, wait, why are other women contacting you? But anyway, so at this point, Ashante heads out, and now it's Ashley, Darius' siblings, and Darius. And before we even jump into Ashley's moment with the siblings, did y'all peep Darius, his brother, low-key trying to get at Ashante? I feel like he was trying to see what is up. Like, hey, just letting you know, if things don't work out between you and my brother, I'm here. I'm the other brother. Like, it felt like he was trying to put his feelers on, because when she was about to leave, he made sure she got the bouquet of flowers that, of course, Darius got for her, but maybe he forgot to give it to her, or maybe Darius's brother just wanted to make sure she doesn't leave without the bouquet of flowers. But the way that he was giving it to her and he was looking at her, his head was tilting, it was giving, hit me up on IG, because I know it ain't gonna work out between you and my brother, but I want to see if it could work out between us. So we get into a conversation about the topic, the infamous topic of submission. Okay, this gets the girls riled up. This topic gets the girls riled up, the modern girls riled up. Now, let me just say this. Enough with this. I just feel like, look, If you are an adult, you submit. But no, what I'm saying is basically if you are in a happy, healthy relationship, you love your person, you naturally submit to him. And it's not a scary word. It's not a word that means maid or servant. It just means naturally, I am going to be there for you. I'm going to make sure you're not without, right? I'm going to support you. And obviously, if I'm doing that, that also means you're doing your part as the man, as this king. And it's, it's a give and take. And I just think oftentimes this topic gets people riled up because they have a negative impression of what submission looks like, and even just the word itself. But anyway, Darius says, the biblical version is to adhere to one's will. And I mean, I think even that definition sounds like, okay, I'm gonna, bend down and but don't think of literally stop thinking about it like that. And I think Ashley was immediately on defense. She was immediately on defense, and we get some backstory here because apparently they got into an argument right after the getaway over the phone because he was asking her, what do you bring to a relationship? Like, I want to know, bitch, I'm giving you all these furs, right? I'm letting you borrow my car while your car's in the shop. What can you bring me? Bitch, can you cook? Can you make some pasta primavera? What can you bring me? And I think that's a fair question. Hello? I think it's a fair question. I feel like you should be able to bring something. Okay, and stop with this whole I am the table. What does that mean? Can we stop there? What does that I am the table? So what does that mean? In real life, in realistic terminology, in everyday terminology, what does that mean? We have to break it down to the basics. Okay? If I'm coming home from a long days of work and you're at home, you are doing what? Are you just laying down like the table? Like, what does that mean? What does that look like? Okay. So Darius points out when he asked her that question, she responded with immediately the things that she won't be doing. Here's what I'm not going to do. Like, what? Why would you immediately respond with a negative? That's just poor communication skills. You never respond with a negative. You respond with a solution. You respond with some positivity. You respond with options. Don't respond with what I'm not going to do. And even when Darius' sister asked her, okay, so what does submission mean to you? She said, well, she starts off with what it doesn't. Well, what's she not going to do? Well, I'm not going to cook and clean. I'm not going to wipe my ass or your ass. That's basically what she's saying. But she says it means, after she said that, she said, oh, it means a damsel in distress. No, it doesn't. Where did you get that? Where did that definition come from, huh? Damsel in distress? So are you saying that he should only submit to you? Are you saying that he should only give you things and make sure your day is lighter, right? He made sure your day is lighter while your car was in the shop. You didn't have to deal with figuring out your transportation for X amount of days. You had his car. That's a lot. And maybe it's not a big deal because, he owns a bunch of cars for his car company. I think the point still matters. I think it's still the principle here. I think it still tells me that you cared enough because he could have loaned that car. He could have lent that car to someone else. He could have still had it in his inventory available for his potential customers. So I still appreciate that he gave her that. People are trying to chalk it up. Oh, well, that ain't a big deal. Look, people could still not do that. And he still did it. Regardless of how convenient it is for him to do it, that's besides the point. He still did it because he could have still said no. Anyway, so she's talking about, oh, I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to clean. I'm just a damsel in distress. What? So, but you're the table though. See, that right there is just ridiculous and it's childish. So she said how she was annoyed with the conversation because she felt like he was manipulating her. Like, what is this? Like, why do we sometimes as women, we go there? We go to the extreme. You're trying to manipulate me. You're trying to lock me up. You're trying to put me in a dungeon. No, bitch. And I'm sorry to call her that. But the point is, no. You go into these dramatic conclusions and that's not it. And this is damning because it shows her age here. They have a 10-year difference, and it's clear that her difference in age is a difference in maturity. Okay? So he responded over the phone when they had this argument. He's like, there's no 40-year-old that would say this dumbass shit. So basically he's saying there's no one in his age range, because he's in his 40s while Ashley is in her 30s. He's saying that no one in his age range would dare to say some dumb crap like that I'm not cooking and I'm not cleaning. So how are you going to eat? What do you mean? How are you going to upkeep your home? Do you live in filth? Like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, just the basis of that statement. I'm not cooking, I'm not cleaning. So you're always spending money ordering takeout? You're always going to a restaurant every day? Logistically, that doesn't make sense. Oh, I'm not cleaning. So are you living in filth? Do you have sinks piling up in your sink? Do you have a rusty brown ring tub in your bathroom? Like, what is the reality here? Let me see how your home looks. That's just wild to me. Anyway, I think Darius is right. Darius is right here. And I know we want to clown Darius, all these furs that he wears and the allegations against him of being this scammer. But those are allegations, and whether the truth of it is there or not, the point here is, in this moment, from this conversation, Darius is absolutely in the right. He's in the right. So we get with Vince. Vince is introducing Lauren to his brother. I don't think his brother and him really look alike. I do think they have similar mannerisms and even their voice, but physically I wouldn't really see brothers in them. Maybe cousins. But anyway, Lauren's the first to arrive, right? Because of course there's another connection coming in. I think, yeah, Donna comes in later, but Lauren is the first one. So we immediately come to this conversation yet again. What conversation am I talking about? His height. Whether he really is 6'2" or not. At this point, let me see his license plate. No, not even his license. His license plate from his car. Y'all know what I mean. But anyway, so we talk about that again, right? And she's trying to explain it in a way that would make sense, as if she's in the right. And she still sounded like a damn fool. She's saying, oh, yeah, they were just saying, are you really 6'2"? And she even said herself that he was making it seem like my friends were insinuating something. He's like, okay, were they insinuating something? She's like, no, did she bring that part up? I don't know. But anyway, Vince kind of doubled down, which was surprising because we know in the last episode, he apologized. He spoke to the friend over the phone. And I just felt like, okay, I thought we were done with this. But anyway, he said, yeah, they were insinuating that I was lying. Anyway, she says how she felt like the way he responded is the issue. No, this conversation is the issue. It's the fact that we're going back and forth about this, and you're failing to see how your friends were doing the most, and you're doing the most too. And this tells me all I need to know about how she is in a romantic relationship. And it was funny to see how Vince's brother, he was like, okay, Yeah, what were they trying to say? Because what is the purpose of you saying, are you 6'2"? Obviously, that insinuates that you think I'm lying. Like, what else does it insinuate? Am I wrong? What else does it insinuate? It simply means I don't trust you. Therefore, I'm asking you yet again. Therefore, I'm not only did they ask him yet again, but they said, oh, does your license say 6'2"? Because, you know, some people be saying 6'2", and like, so you're saying that he's lying. That's the insinuation. But she can't admit to that. She's like, no, they weren't trying to insinuate that he's lying. Oh, girl, bye. So we get to the part of the conversation in which Vince's brother, he asked Lauren, what would you say are some of the reasons you could own up to your past relationships not working out? Lauren gives this long-winded, roundabout answer talking about, basically I gave him too much of a chance and I didn't have a high enough standard. And when he was ready to show me he was high quality, I wasn't ready. Some BS response that still made it seem like it's him who's the problem. And it will always be him. It's never me. There's no ownership that I can make for it. What I liked about this moment was Vince's brother was like, okay, are you going to get to it? Because she didn't get to it. You could tell she was kind of stalling to frame it in a way that still made her look like this faultless being. So Vince's brother actually asked Donna the same question, of course. And Donna, she describes how volatile her words were. And in her past relationship, she was basically verbally abusive and it tore him down. And she was able to originate where that came from. And it came from her lack of a relationship with her father. So that motivated her to rekindle her relationship with her dad. And she explained this all in one sitting. Like, it was, I don't know if it was edited differently, but I think she explained it much quicker, I would say, than how Lauren answered the question, which gave me the impression that Donna was really reflective about this, like this really happened type of thing. And I'm saying this because I felt like when Lauren was giving her response, she was figuring out what she was saying as she was saying it to, again, make her look like a faultless person. And I don't think that I didn't think that fared well for her. But we see here Vince's brother was very appreciative of this. He said how he liked that she took accountability. And basically, Donna looked good in the light here. But it was interesting how both of them had a similar response in the sense of both of them were disrespectful to their exes. So we learn a little bit more about Donna's timeline, right? So at this point, Lauren excuses herself, and now it's just Donna. Donna is given more of a timeline that is very clear, very distinct. She's saying, look, I'm trying to get engaged. I'm trying to have these babies in me. I'm trying to pop out some babies. I'm trying to get married. Like, she's saying, I want this all within the next 60 days, maybe 90 days, really. She's making it very clear, abundantly clear that this is her goal. And here's the thing. I think it's fair to have like this mindset of, okay, this is what I want to conquer, right? This is what I want to achieve. But the thing is with love and family planning, it's really hard to plan. I really feel like it's not something that you can naturally or carefully plan. You could do your best maybe, right? Oh, you know, by the time I'm this age, I'm gonna get married, or, you know, this is my goal. But that really is dependent on so many external factors, so much so that you really don't have much of a say so, right? So at this point, like, and I feel like Donna's looking at it from this mathematical standpoint, or the standpoint of just being this academic that she is, right? We know she is pursuing her doctorate degree, her PhD, and with a lot of girlies, a lot of people, everyone really who's in academia, myself included, right? We have these goals. We have, okay, by this, like, you know, we have these benchmarks to complete by this time, and this will set me forward for this degree, that degree. Now I have, you know, there's this timeline. And even with work, depending on what job you have, but I think almost with every job, you have these mini goals that you achieve that will get you to this incentive or this promotion or whatever it is. So it's understandable to have this goal-oriented mindset, but when it comes to love, it's hard to plan that. Like, some things just be happening and some things just don't. Like, some things just don't happen the way you would have liked, and you have to kind of roll with the punches or figure it out. So I'm just saying all this to say, yes, I could appreciate Donna having this clarity when it comes to her love life and really prioritizing it, but it can change the organic nature of a relationship naturally blossoming. And I think that's the point that Vince is making. I mean, granted, he's saying, look, I'm not trying to change my timeline, period. Okay, I already been there, done that. I already got married. Maybe I'll give you a baby, but I don't know about marriage. Like, he's making it very clear that he's not trying to adhere to any timeline. But I think naturally in men in general, aside from Vince saying this, I think naturally men in general don't have a timeline. They kind of go with the flow. And women, they're the ones who have to, like, we're the ones who have to, okay, let's look, if you not marrying me by next week, this is the ultimatum. I'm done. But anyway, I mean, we'll see how this goes. He seems like he's very rigid on not adhering to anyone else's timeline, and I think that's fair. I don't think he's a bad guy for that. I feel like you have to find someone who will match your timeline if you're strict on that, right? If you're strict on that, because you could be in this blossoming organic flow of a relationship with Vince and just be happy in that, rather than restrict yourself to, well, by next week we should be at this point in our relationship, we should be at that point. And it's like what is time? But maybe I'm a little too woo for this. Maybe because I'm not really goal oriented when it comes to love either. So maybe that's the problem. I don't know. Now we get this scene with Bellow and him introducing his connections to his brother. We see that there are two different settings. So Bellow, his brother, and Ashante. That's one setting. And then the next setting is Bellow, his brother, Dominique, and Lauren. Now, of course, it's an interesting setup here because we know that Dominique and Lauren have a little tension. That's primarily on Dominique's side. Dominique has been showing her face here, and she's a mean girl. Dominique is not looking good in the light. She really isn't. She may know how to work a room. She may know how to attract men, and she have this like siren energy, but she's a mean girl. And that tells me more about her character than it does anything else. And I feel like men sometimes, well, an unwise man, and I know there are a lot of wise men out there, but there are a lot of unwise men out there. They will get sucked into her orbit because of her siren-like energy, right? Her way of attracting men. And they will fail to see how she's treating people. They will fail to see how she treats, quote unquote, the help, for example. Not to say Lauren's the help, but I feel like if you could easily talk down to people or just be catty and inconsiderate in how you speak to people, you are soon to do that to me, right? At some point, you're going to show me your colors, and your mask is going to fall with me as well. But anyway, Lauren says how she still thinks, and she's just doing this in the moment. I really feel like she's just doing this in the moment. I don't think she really means this. This is probably just, look, I gotta say what I gotta say. I don't think Lauren's really into anyone, really. I think Lauren has a lot of growing to do. But nonetheless, she's going to say what she needs to say in this moment, so she looks unbothered. But I don't think she's really into Bellow. But anyway, she's telling how she feels like she still has a strong connection with Bellow, how she likes how he's never satisfied and he always like shoots for the stars. And she sees herself multiplying in his life, meaning like, I'm going to help you reach your goals and for us to be this power couple. Dominique's sitting there like, say what now? Just last episode, you talking about how you don't appreciate him, you making him seem like he's this sneaky guy because you saying how you feel like a side chick. And Lauren is saying, well, I don't have to answer your question. And I'm glad that Lauren did not give Dominique the energy that she was obviously seeking. But again, I think Bellow, this is a clear moment for you to clock it, right? This is a clear moment for you to say, or for you to notice, oh, this is how Dominique acts. I don't like that. I don't like that. So we jump back into the scene with Ashante meeting Bellow's brother. Ashante brings up the question, so how do you feel about Bellow and his newborn? His brother says, it's kind of hard because they live in Miami. We live here in Detroit. Bellow says how he only seen this child 3 times out of the year or this past year or whatever. Then Bellow says, oh, maybe we'll go see his child. Maybe we'll see this child for your birthday. Maybe we'll go to Miami for your birthday. Even the brother looked at him like, maybe not. Maybe not. It's like nobody wants to claim this child for real. For like, nobody's excited about this child. No one really cares to bridge a connection here. I get it. This baby is a result of a one night stand and things happen. But my golly, betcha by golly, how? I just want to understand how nonchalant both of these men are in regards to this new child in their family. And I think it's interesting how we have yet to see a scene between Dominique and Bellow about Dominique's feelings regarding his newborn. I have yet to see, because Dominique is giving this whole, I met his family. He FaceTimed my mom. She's riding shotgun next to him as they were going to the getaway. Like, they're kissing in front of everyone. They're sleeping in the same bed at the getaway. But they even had that scene by the fireplace about okay, what's your timeline? I'm trying to get married. I'm trying to, I'm being serious. But Dominique, what is your take about what's the vision here? Because you have a child in Miami. Are we going to move to Miami, be closer to your child? What does this look like? Why don't you have any concern in the world? You have Ashante bringing this up. I think Ashante's not serious either. Her and Lauren. But anyway. So we jump back into the scene between Bellow, Lauren, and Dominique, and Bellow's brother. He is, what's funny about this is Dominique is definitely just showing her ass. She's again trying to make it seem like, we're locked in. Even Bellow says, she met my family. No. What he said? He said how he absolutely sees a future with her. And it's awkward. It's awkward at this point because, dang, can can Lauren catch a damn break at this point? Like, it just feels, I'm surprised Lauren didn't just walk the fuck out. I would have been like, all right, y'all have a good night, I'm out. But I'm glad that she showed, like, she saved face, because I think Dominique would have relished in this moment. So Lauren, she kind of corners Bellow and asks, look, are you open to growing a connection with me? And you could see like, that meme where the guy is thinking so many mathematical equations and he's looking at the screen. That's what Bella was doing. And he answered, mind you, she said, are you open to a connection with me, growing a connection with me? Yes or no? Yes or no? He says, he's doing the whole mathematical equations look. And then he goes, that's why you're here. This nigga. Oh man, a man is a man is a man is a man. So basically, he's not straightforward. He's not giving a straightforward answer, but he gave her an answer, right? Like, whether it wasn't straightforward in the format of saying yes or no, he gave her an answer. And it wasn't the answer that she wanted, of course. But I think Lauren, again, is not serious. I don't think she really likes anyone in this process. I just think she wants to be desired. And that's a lot of women's thing, right? I just want to be desired. I want you to pick me, right? I want to be desired. I want to be your connection. I want to be your top. Imagine Lauren is the one who is consistently asking the ranking. Where do I rank? Where am I along your connection? So clearly she's seeing she is not top girl here, and it's awkward. It's uncomfortable. So we wrap this up. So we get to this part when the brother, of course, he's giving his 2 cents. At this point, the ladies are gone, and it's just his brother and Bellow. His brother immediately says, Dominique came in hot. She showed possessiveness. And Bellow's response was like, come on. Like, he is blinded. He is blinded. There is wool over his eyes. He's not receptive. He's not receptive to this at all. And I think this is interesting because it just speaks to this effect that Dominique has on this man and a lot of the men in this process. But I think Bellow will be in for a rude awakening. Because yes, they do have a strong connection. We see that physically. But if he doesn't take serious how she treats others, he will be in for a rude awakening. If he doesn't clock that, if he doesn't say, look, I understand you like me. I understand you want a future with me, all these things, and you have these feelings for me, but I don't appreciate how you communicate to other people. I don't appreciate how you could be a little catty, or like, if you don't clock that behavior early on, she's going to do that with you. She is. And I think as a man, he needs to clock that early. Because soon come she's going to act up with you. His brother says, I see a connection. I will recommend you explore your connection with Ashante and with Lauren, but definitely not Dominique. He did not include her name at all. So he was taken aback by that. Of course, he didn't want to hear that because Dominique is his top choice. But we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I'm sighing here because we get this scene between Vince and Donna. And clearly, it's nippy outside in this scene. I don't know where they are, but they're at some type of outdoor event that needs tickets. And this is Detroit. We're not in Miami. We're not in a mostly hot area in the States. No, we're still in a cold ass state. And Donna shows up with these shorts. Now, I think it's cute. I like a little lace action here. I do. But do I think it's appropriate for this setting? No, I don't. And I feel like with Donna, throughout this season, we have seen a progression in her appearance and in her way of communicating. I think she's been leaning into her femininity, and that's been great to see. I really do appreciate her growth just in this season, right? Like, and I think that says a lot about her, right? If you give her a goal, she will accomplish it. She would exceed it. And it bleeds from her academic prowess. So that's great. I think that's an awesome trait to have. And it's great that she could use that in her academic life and in her love life, in her character as well. So that's pretty cool to see. But I feel like this fashion choice was probably not it. It wasn't it. Vince, I do feel like he's attracted to her, and he was in this scene here, we see him looking back at her. But I think with Vince, he has a weird way of flirting. He's not really a flirtatious, a handsy, or even through his words, like he doesn't really show affection. Like it's kind of odd. And I think the woman, whether it's Donna or someone else, they will have to be the one to bring that out of him. They will have to be the one to snuggle up with him. We see towards the end of the scene, Donna, she says, come here, come closer. That's why you're here. Oh, that's why I have your lap to sit on type of, like, she was saying these like cute things, which was nice. Like we see her leaning into her femininity, and it's awesome to see. But I wish we see Vince lean into some type of affection, right? I wish he would hold her hand. I wish he would, at least put your hand on my knee. Her bare legs are out. He could have put his hand on her knee if he wanted to warm her up. Golly. Anyway, in this scene, we get this moment of him and them, they're talking about timeline, this topic yet again. He also explains how he may say offhand things. He may not be able to read the room well enough, but don't charge it to my heart, right? Always know I'm coming from a genuine place, and it's never malintended. And look, I think it's cool to have that self-awareness, which he is showing here. He's showing in this moment that he's aware of how he could come off. But I think in that, sometimes people could weaponize that, right? Like, oh, I'm aware that I'm blunt. I'm aware that I tell it like it is. And I hurt feelings, but I'm real, but I keep it real. And it's like, but you're still an asshole, and that's not okay. Right? You're still not changing how you deliver your words. You're still not changing your tone in your delivery, right? So I think, it's two steps here. It's one thing to be self-aware, but you shouldn't just stop there. You should be self-aware and take corrective action to stop yourself from being perceived in a way that you would not want to be perceived. Now, you could only control so much. People could still project their things onto you and yada, yada, yada. But if you are careful in your words, in your delivery, then at least you are doing that. And I think sometimes with Vince and the way that he's communicating here, he's just saying that, like, look, this is just who I am, but please don't take it personally. Like, what? No, you need to talk to me nice. I want you to rub up on my booty. And I feel like Vince needs a woman who could lead him in that moment, or lead him in general to be more affectionate. And I think with Donna, since we've been seeing this trajectory in her way of communicating, in her way of behaving in this process, I think she could help him with that. I do. And it seems like she said, she could work with that. Like, she could accept that his delivery may not be the best, but don't take it personally. She could accept that. So I think, look, he needs someone who could accept that. And he needs someone who could help him to be more affectionate. So we'll see if that could be her. But I think Donna, since she's been progressing, I feel like there's a chance there. So we get this scene between Darius and Ashante. Darius reveals in this scene that he hasn't heard from Ashley in a couple of days. And he is realizing that maybe he was putting too much energy in that connection, and he should have been honing in his connection with Ashante. And we also learned from Ashante that she hasn't really heard from Bellow either. So now we see two people here in this scene together by default. Because the people who they really had more of a connection with, who they've been building more energy and time with, they haven't heard from them. So I just feel like he just kind of, it felt a little shitty if you ask me. It felt like, look, it didn't work out with my top choice, so now I'm with you. Let's see where this could go. Maybe I was wrong all along. I didn't really like that, but it seems like it was an eye for an eye here. But I mean, they had a cute little date. It was a cute little day. I love a little adventure. So we get the men at the lounge talking to Tommy. And, they're explaining their dates and how everything went. We get to Darius talking about how Ashley brought up the whole conversation about what do you bring to the table. And she's saying how she's not going to cook, not clean. And I'm not bringing shit. I am the table, basically. Vince jumps in and says, yeah, she told me about that. And then Darius' face was like, is that it? Vince is saying, yeah, your girl told me everything. Okay, she was crying. She was hysterical. And again, this shows her age. And I'm not trying to shoot her down for being younger than Darius. Look, I am younger than Freckles Bay. And so I've had these moments too. Okay, and I'm not too proud of them. But this just, again, speaks to the age gap. And I feel like when Darius was hearing this, he was shocked because this is his first time hearing this. Of course, Ashley didn't let him know that, hey, I vented to Vince about my feelings about you. Like, of course he didn't know about that until now. But I think the point is, anyway, Vince was just trying to be a listening ear. He didn't say anything necessarily, but in his confessional, he's saying, respect is earned, and basically saying that Darius was disrespectful, and you could tell that was somehow shared in his conversation with Ashley. So this is definitely going to be a point of contention between Ashley and Darius. We get this final scene between them. They finally talk after not speaking for a couple of days. And Darius, being mature, and I hate to be caping for Darius here, but I'm sorry. Ashley is not looking good in this light, okay? But of course, we get to the last scene, and two women are down to the chopping block. Bellow takes out Lauren, and Darius takes out Ashley. Darius and Ashley are finally talking after a couple of days of not speaking to each other. He's taking some responsibility yet again for the verbiage that he used when he said the whole no 40-year-old would say some dumbass shit like that. And of course, that reaction, that statement, the tone and everything was aggressive. But I think the point is still valid in the respects of, why would you say sensibly you're not gonna cook or clean? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. And Ashley, he's saying, what can you take accountability for? Ashley's saying, well, I could have more grace when you react like that. Basically, again, showing little to no accountability. Like, it was definitely pulling teeth for this moment here. Bellow delivers the unfortunate news to Lauren that she is not ready to love. She immediately responds and says, "What a joke." What a joke. She feels like she was in this process with the right intentions, which I don't think she necessarily was. I mean, I don't know if she necessarily, I don't think she was. I really don't think she was. I don't think she was really serious about anything. She just wanted to be picked, right? She just wanted to be desired, which is understandable, but I don't think she really was leaning with this mindset of really wanting to build with someone. And prior to her getting eliminated, she says how she felt like, you didn't give me anything when we had that sit down with your brother and I asked you, do you think there's a connection between us? Do you think there's something that you want to still explore? And he explains to her, he says, well, I didn't want to give you an answer to that because I didn't want Dominique to feel like me and her don't have a connection. What? That's a corny Negro right there. That's a corny. And what's corny about that is stand on it. Stand on it, because what is it then? It's either her or me, okay? Unless we're doing some polyamory stuff, but it's not that. That's not the show. It's either her or me. And you telling me in my face that you're worried about another woman's feelings tells me more than enough of what I need to know, because you're only worried about her feelings and you could give a less about mine. So yeah, I would feel insulted too if I was Lauren. Even though I feel like Lauren's not for real and she's just upset because she didn't get picked, I still would have been upset too. I'll give Lauren that. I'll give her that. But anyway, like I said, Lauren got eliminated. Ashley stayed. Darius says, you are still ready to love. And we'll see. I don't like to watch the previews for the next episode. I like to watch it live because, the previews kind of give you everything that you need to know. And I don't like that. So anyway, let me know what y'all think about this review, about this episode. What do y'all think about the eliminations? What do you think about Dominique? Is she a mean girl? Do y'all agree? Let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like, share, and be sure to be subscribed. That'll be a great way to support me. That'll be very much appreciated. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.